Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Whoa, my goodness. I'm excited today. Hi. Hello. Hello, Auxiliary. Hi, Auxiliary, and hi, Robert. Hi, the both of yous. It's me, the local of the virtual of the bakers. And boy howdy, we got a spicy stream today. We got a fun little stream to happen today. It's a pretty good stream, I'm gonna let you know on that front. It's gonna be a very great stream. And I've been kind of excited. I'm kind of upset that we weren't able to do it the other day, yesterday. You didn't miss anything yesterday. I didn't stream yesterday because I was too tired and had other things planned. So I just simply couldn't stream. But today, we are going to be doing today's stream, yesterday's stream today. So, as per usual, when we do debates like this, I need to get my handy dandy little thing out. Okay, cool. I got my handy dandy little controversy board here. I hope you're all ready to get a little bit smarter today, because today we're talking about the greatest debate between white people and Asians, and Islanders, and I guess Latin America, and well, actually, actually just people who aren't really white if you think about it. Like, you know, there's Mexico, they have rice, and then in, like, let's say the southern parts of America, there's dirty rice, and then if you think about, like, Jamaica, there's rice there, there's rice in, well, actually, are Italians white? Well, yeah, kind of. Either way around it, we are doing a grand debate today. We're doing a grand debate between the potato and the rice. Which one is better? Which one is the most superior starch? There's also wild rice native to North America. That is true. That is true. There's that as well. There's a whole bunch of rice, but I'm gonna go ham and talk about that in a moment, because I need to set the ground rules before we get everything done. So, you in chat will be able to just tell me a sort of thing that you think will go strong with potatoes or rice. I'm gonna spit out my hot takes as I think of them, and we're gonna just try and debate which one's better. I have my personal take, and I can actually fight on both ends, because not only am I a full 100% blooded Asian, because I did the 23andMe's, and I was from North China. Actually, like North and South Korea. That's where my bloodline is. So that is where my bloodline is going to stay. I'm gonna die. The bloodline ends with me. So today, so anyways, with what I was gonna say, I have the ability to talk on both sides. I have a lot of Asian blood, but I was raised as I guess a white person as well. My parents are white, and that's not a bad thing. But that does come with their positives and negatives, if you could say. But, yeah, I have my opinions, and I know both of them very greatly. I also cook a lot, so there's that too. So there's taking into account of, I know my background, I've grown up with both of these things, I cook so much, so I am the best candidate to talk about this. I'm not only Asian, I'm also white as heck. So, you can't get better than this. I am the best, I am the most optimal person to talk about such a thing. No one else can talk about this, because people like me do not exist. I guess. Maybe. I'm not sure. We're gonna go with that for dramatic effect. But I'm gonna go out and say, I'm gonna just make the record clear for today. which one I particularly like the most. And I'm just gonna say it. I like, okay, it's kind of complicated because I look at it like this. Do I like potatoes or do I like rice? And do I like rice because there's so much I can do with it and it's so good by itself? Or is it because potatoes are so good because there's a lot of variety of them and all that sort of such? But if we're gonna talk about just straight up plain eating, rice takes the cake. No competition. Rice just wins. It's just the best overall, like, basic thing to have. Aside from bread. Bread is also kind of like in that same ballpark of rice, but you know. But potatoes! Potatoes are greatly more versatile. They have so much more to work with. So, let's talk about some real nice takes about that, since I like potatoes a little bit more for variety. So, potatoes! They got variety. They have a lot more variety to them, and anyone who says no is wrong. In the sense of, like, what you can do with a potato. You can do potato bread. You can do potato pancakes. You can do mashed potato. You can do confit potatoes, which is just like cooking potatoes in a nice flavored oil. And then you can also you can fry a potato. You can bake potatoes. Like, here, actually, I gotta write them down before I forget. So you can fry them, you can bake them. You're gonna see my really messed up handwriting. You can fry them, you can bake them, you can mash them, you can smash them, you can make smashed potatoes. You can make soup with them, you can make a baked potato soup. You can do I'm trying to think things that are very basic, that don't really go too grand, you know? Some of that is just basically just the potato, but you can get fried potatoes, and you can make fries, you can make home fries, you can make confit potatoes, because they're in that same ballpark. You can also you can just do a lot with a potato in that sense. You can also bake potatoes, and you can make, well, a baked potato. You can do a twice baked potato, and with a twice baked potato you can also do smashed potatoes, which are just mashed but not smashed. Hash browns! Oh, of course! Yeah. Hash browns. So, I'm gonna just name off all the foods that really are good with that come from potatoes. So there's hash browns, there's home fries, tater tots. Oh my god, you're right, tater tots. Okay, wait, I don't know what they're called, but they're like smiley little fluffy potato things, and they're like this. They're like creepy and scary, but they're like little potato things. These things, I don't know what they're called. Okay, so there's also smashed and mashed potato. And then there's other fun, fancy stuff called Duchess potatoes, which are kind of like... Duchess potatoes are kind of like, if you got twice baked potatoes, but you didn't actually, have the potato shell. So there you got Duchess potatoes, you got baked potatoes, you got, you know, those you got layered potatoes. Oh, you got pavés, you got something called potato pave. You also get something called, potatoes gratins, potato gratin, yeah. Potato gratins. You got potato chips, obviously. You got chips. You got chips. You got fries, and then with fries you also have poutine. And let's see. Fries can be their own thing too, because then you got steak fries. You got You got steak fries, you got curly fries, you got waffle fries, you got all these sort of fries when it comes to just the fries? Like chips? Do we need to even talk about what chips? Like you got kettle cooked, you got normal chips, you got fresh chips, you got laced air chips, you got all these kind of just potato chips, you got all those, that sort of thing. And fries can turn into poutine, and poutine, it has like cheese curd and other sort of stuff on it, but the most important thing are the fries. They got those. What else? I guess you got, here, let me write down twice baked. And by the, yeah, you got, I already put baked potatoes. And oh, and this is just because of me. Potato bread, of course. There's that lovely, lovely potato bread that we all love to have with our burgers and such. Personally, I like myself a brioche bun, but I can appreciate a nice, fluffy, rich, soft potato bread. So, that's also something too. Potato bread. Okay, I should also say potato pancakes. And, cheese curds or cheese, what the F? Cheese curds or yeah, it's like cheese. That's pretty much what they are. It's kind of just like mozzarella cheese, but hasn't gotten, you know, stretched and pulled into its mozzarella state, I guess. Alright, what other kind of foods are popular that I can think of? Oh, Pommes puree, which is just mashed potatoes. I'm gonna put that right here. Pommes puree. I don't know what else. I think that's all I can really think of on top of my head. Like, with variety of potatoes, that's all I can think about. Like, yeah. For that sense, there's just so much more variety, and there's so much more quality as well. There's not quality. Because sometimes you can get really good fries, or you can get really bad fries. And, you know, with that, then it's just kind of like, this is kind of a sad potato, you know? Potato salad! Of course! Oh my god. How did I forget that? Potato salad. Oh, by the way, when we talk about potato versus rice, we're not just going with food, we're also going to branch out a lot further than this. It's just for now, we're gonna start off simple. We're gonna get very, very simple with this stuff. So yeah, bear with me when we just continue talking about food, alright? Potato salad though, oh my god, how could I forget? Yes, potato salad! You could just, I already wrote down soup, right? Yeah, okay, soups. I think that's really all. Like you can do with potatoes that I can think of on top of my head. And now versus rice, okay, so yeah, it's pretty simple to say that it lacks variety. But the thing about rice is strength and versatility. You know what? I'm not gonna write this stuff down unless it's gonna take too long. My non-diagnosed ADHD is not gonna like this, so we're just gonna type this all out instead. So, lacks variety. Lacks variety, but it makes up in versatility. So yeah, this is, so even though that there isn't really much variety you can do with it, there's a lot more veritable use for it. Like, rice is just such a good, like, what's a good word? It's a good, like, it's like a good, accompaniment. It is a great side. rice, but I'm also gonna just really quickly just mention out, just because, just to get out of the way, versatility. We might as well just try and mention all the stuff with rice as well. I mean, you got rice crackers, you got rice paper, which is interesting. I mean, you got arancini. If we want to not think of just purely Asia, if we want to go to somewhere like Italy, they have arancini, so they have risotto, which is very versatile. And then you got pilaf, you got... Here, actually I should make another thing, because this is kind of like weird, like grocer things, but there's also arancinis, risottos, rice pilafs, wild rice bread. I haven't heard of rice bread, to be completely honest, but rice bread, I doubt it doesn't exist in the world. So we have rice bread, that'll put that right there. But, oh, so I can probably put down mochi. That's one. So mochi is a good one. My mom used to make it a lot. I think I've made rice bread once. It's interesting, it's finicky, it's strange. I'll say that at the very least. Gotta delete that. So there is rice bread, I bet, but something that is even better than rice bread is bao buns. Rice buns, steamed buns, stuff like that. They aren't necessarily made with flour, but I bet you probably could. I mean, they're probably made with flour, but yeah, I bet they are made with it. I don't know. Wild rice, brown sugar, and milk for breakfast. So like almost like an oatmeal, yeah, like a rice oatmeal. Oh, okay, wait, I forgot this thing exists. Rice pudding. A lot of old people like that, I know that. Though I will also admit that I like rice pudding as well. Rice pudding is very, very nice. I appreciate a rice pudding. Yeah. Okay, so rice pudding, arancini, risotto, pilaf, mochis, bao buns, rice pudding, and I guess rice cakes, because those exist. Not like cake, not like sweet sugar cakes, but like a rice cake, like tteokbokki. It's a Korean food. They're like little soft rice cakes, and it's kind of like almost like a noodle, but it's made of rice. It's really interesting, really weird. It's almost like if you made mochi into a noodle. Then yeah, it is very good. But in comparison to all the variety, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, yeah, 12, 3, 6, 9, 10 things over here for variety. But then over here in the variety of potatoes, we have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-ish for variety of things that I could just think on top of my head. Yeah, you know, there's a whole bunch of that stuff. Fried rice, Spanish rice, and sushi. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's very, very fair, yeah. But to be fair, if we talk about fried rice, if we talk about sushi is great, but that is not the main focal point when we think of sushi. We think of nice raw fish over rice. and we think of the fish more often. But I do still see the point, so I will still put it down over here. So, rice pudding, fried rice, and sushi. And then you got your dirty rices, you got your dirty rice, you got your Spanish rice, you got all that sort of rice. So yeah, you got, give or take, you got a few things, but something that rice is a lot better, even though it doesn't have variety, it has a lot more versatility. Like, rice is just good with, like, anything. Let me think of something. Like, what's good with rice that isn't necessarily good with potatoes? Like fish and potatoes, that's kind of weird, but fish and rice, that just goes hand in hand. Beef and rice, beef and potatoes, they both work well, but probably people would go more with potato, but so a potato 1-on-1. Pork. I personally think pork works really well with rice versus a potato, so I think it works better with that. Chicken can really go either way, but I personally think it goes with rice a lot better as well. Yeah. But in the sense of like versatility, what I mean by that is just that it really just is strong in many other things. Hold on, wait. I'm trying to make a good argument. I am actually trying to make a good argument here. I just don't know how to explain. Alright, so, explain this. Okay, I guess what I'm just really trying to say here is that rice is just good by itself. You don't really need to do all these sort of things to prepare it in a specific way. I mean, you got your sushi, you got your rice pudding, you got your fried rice, and all these sort of things in between, your mochis and rice breads. But rice by itself is already so good that you don't really need to... Sorry, you don't need to go above and beyond and try to go do 20,000 things to try and make a good thing, like in potatoes. Like, for potatoes, you have to boil potatoes, and you gotta mash them, and then you gotta add stuff and flavorings, and then you gotta keep it hot, and blah 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 blah. But rice you just kind of cook it up, and then just like, you leave it in your rice cooker. When you want more, you just pull it out of the bowl, and you just go, and it's just so good and simply delicious as that. So that is something I will say, that like rice is strong by itself. So actually lacks variety, but it's strong on its own. So yeah. Okay, I gotta make the canvas bigger actually, because we need more space. Oh, no, I don't want that. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna just tally up this stuff. And I think it'll be safe to say that they both kind of... This is kind of like both their own strengths and such, so it's fine. Alright, so let's see. I might as well talk about that. What about, we talk about... Oh, onigiri! Oh, yeah, okay, I should put that on. I can't. Onigiri, yeah. Onigiri. Put that there. Right. So how about I write down now, with like most food, let's talk about leftovers. So, I think it's pretty simple and easy to say that rice beats... With like leftovers. Like potatoes versus rice though. That's actually kind of hard. Like, let's say I got like mashed potato that I made from the day beforehand. Well, I just have to heat it up and then it's great, and I just have the same mashed potato I had the other night. Or, but you can really only do that with like smashed, mashed, and pommes puree. If you do something like a potato gratin or like twice baked potatoes, then you kind of have to bake it again because it gets weird if you like cook it again. So yeah, it depends on the dish. Like, reheating a lot of potato dishes the next day is really dependent. Especially if you talk about like any of the fried potatoes, like fries, home fries, tater tots, hash browns, stuff like that. Oh my god, you have to eat them the day of. You have to eat them like a minute out of the oven or fryer or whatever they're coming from. You have to eat potatoes fresh. You have to. Unless it's like a potato salad, then it's fine. Potato bread? Well, it's bread. Potato, like, poutine? Poutine is gonna be the only, like, fried food that's gonna be like, okay, that's fine. Because there's already so much stuff slathered over top, so it doesn't really matter. But, like, second day use. Second day use is dependent and weak. Well, we can say that for second day use. Well, the second day, here's my thing about like this, of what I'm gonna say. Second day use of rice usually falls into one of two things. You reheat it, which is simple, you just heat it up with some water, or, well not, okay, so what I usually do when I heat up my rice, I get it in a quart container, I throw a little splash of water in there, I nuke it, and then it's nice and fluffy again, and it becomes like nice rice. So, there's that. But the second day's use of rice is not as weak, because a lot of the stuff that you would eat with rice is, it can be fine being reheated. So I'm gonna say second day use of rice is stronger. But depends still. Also fried rice. Because that's like one of the first things when we all think about like rice. Like second day rice. If you have leftover rice, you're gonna probably make fried rice with it. Let's not beat around the bush here. Either you're gonna eat it straight up as it is, just heat it up and then you're gonna eat it like that, or you're going to make fried rice. That is just how it is. Those are the rules of the rice. That's just the rules of rice, and I just don't make it. That's just how it is. However, if we have risotto, if we make like a nice risotto dish, then we can make risotto into arancini. If you have arancini, it falls into the conundrums of tater tots and home fries, so you have to eat that stuff fresh. If you don't eat it fresh, it's just so sad. It feels very sad, so yeah. Yeah, that is true. Then you can microwave it all week. If you have leftover rice, you can make it into fried rice, and then you can just constantly just pick and go at that for the entire week, so that's also a very fair point. So I will say rice wins in that category, I guess. So I'm gonna just put I'm gonna make a little mark here, just so we know that who we know is gonna win, who's winning in this argument. So green is good, red is bad. So yeah, there's that. Let's talk about health. To be 100% honest, I'm not smart enough about knowing about health. But my simple mind says that they're both carbs, so it's not really anything to really talk about, unfortunately. I just wanted to mention it just in case, like, if I make a video of this, it's like, yeah, I did mention it. It's just that they're both carbohydrates, and they're both just kind of meh. I don't know. They're both. I would say probably rice is better because it's a lot more simple. But once more, I'm not too much of a potato head, rice head to really know about nutrition of these two things. I think rice has added vitamins, I think. You think? Here. Let me see. Google.com. In a sense of nutrition, are proteins healthier than rice? Of rice, potatoes, and bread. Potatoes are the healthiest of these starch and really? This is because potatoes are nutrients and are dense in nutrients containing essential minerals, vitamins, and macronutrients. Potatoes are also higher in fiber, helping to satiate hunger and regulate blood sugar. Well, okay, I take back what I said. Then I would imagine potatoes are probably better then. Rice is often chosen over potatoes as rice is less filling. So many large bodybuilders look to gain their lean carbs without filling up. If you're dieting or having a big appetite compared to your healthier expenditure, potatoes can have the advantage of filling you up. Compared to rice, potatoes have higher GI, whatever the heck that is, but rice makes you feel potatoes make you feel full and are healthier than them. So yeah, we're just gonna put a little thing here and just say healthier, I guess. So yeah. I guess that's 1 for potatoes. Wow, that's 1 and 1. It's 2 and 2. Wow. Who cares about health? Let's talk about something else. Funny. Which one's more funny? This is very important, and I need to talk about this. Yes. Which one is inherently more funny? Like, is there more funny things about a potato versus rice? Or is rice more funny than a potato? And let me explain. Kawaii potatoes. The ceiling fan potato song. Potatoes have more meme power, I think. Because when I think of something funny, well, I think of potatoes for some reason, because potatoes are kind of funny, so funnier has more meme potential. So I think potatoes are funnier in that aspect. They have more meme potential. Though I'm gonna go for a low-hanging fruit here and say this is gonna be a question mark, but funny Asian racism jokes, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not racism, that's probably not the right word to say, but like funny Asian jokes, like Uncle Roger and stuff, you know? That's pretty much the only thing that I can think of, like, things that are funny with rice. Like, I just think of, like, stereotypical, like, Asian jokes, like, this rice was not made correctly, it was made in water, that's not rice, that's soup, or stuff like that. My computer is a potato, exactly my point, yes. Potatoes are a lot more funny, they have a lot more meme potential. While whenever I think of kind of rice and like trying to be funny with rice, I just think of racism. I don't really think of many like oh yeah, this is funny and hilarious because potatoes are funny and hilarious, I think of, I mean, rice. I think of just Asian humor. Like, oh wow, wow, you eat white rice, you are boring, or something like that. There's really not much there. The barrel, it's pretty much scraping at the bottom of a barrel of jokes here. They're also called tubers, which is a pun, which is a lot of pun potential. That is true. That is true. The only pun potential I can see with, like, rice is... No, wait, that's... Bop. Yeah, I was thinking about bread. Never mind. There is nothing funny you can say with rice, because I was gonna say bong, but bong is, bread in Korean. Yeah, I can't really think of anything that's funny with rice. Potatoes are just inherently more funny. They're like little spudsy kind of guys. They're kind of just little boys. Potatoes can be batteries. There's more references with potatoes, okay? We actually gotta talk about that too. There's more game exposure. There's more game exposure for them, like Portal 2. Alright. Game potential. Like, things that are, like, saying that it's, like, a part of a game or genre or stuff like that. Portal 2. A great example. There is funny things in Portal 2 because a potato. GLaDOS, spoiler alert, it's been a few years, so if you haven't played the game, it's a skill issue on your front. But potatoes are funny, but they're also they're more often in games too. They are in, like, something like Portal 2. They're also obviously in Minecraft. I don't think there's any in, like, I think that's really it. But those are the two, like, hottest games in the world, you know? Like, computer racing, I've never heard of that. You are crazy. Yeah, here, let me look at my Steam library right now. Let me see if there's anything that has, like, any mentions of rice or potatoes. Terraria. I don't know. Among Us? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think that's really... I don't think there is anything else. I'm only really thinking of, like... Oh! What is it? I guess Fallout, you could say. Like, there's that weird tomato-potato hybrid. Gary's Mod, there's a lot of funny stuff with potatoes and Gary's Mod. There's just a lot more potato potential humor. Like, potato is just so much more prevalent in video games and such, while in rice in games doesn't really exist. So yeah. And I guess I should write that down so I don't completely overlook that. Technology. I'm just gonna say I might be biased in all this stuff as well, in the sense that I don't really know much about rice. I don't use rice as often in comparison to potatoes, so I have less exposure. Maybe rice is really good at separating harmful electrolytes in water because they are so positive with negative protons that get rid of the bad bacteria. Yeah, I don't know, that's just like saying something, I guess, but... yeah, like potato alarms and stuff like that. Yeah, there's not really much technology. technological use for rice at all. Not, or at least any I can think of. I was gonna mention another thing, but I completely forgot what it was. The word potato is fun to say. That is true. It's just funnier to say. It is more fun to say potato. It's just more fun to say potato. That is all. I will put that on the side of potato. Also, hi there, Rice. I find that really funny that you're really sticking up for potatoes even though your name is Rice. That is hilarious and I love you. It's great. I find it ironic how my name is Rice. Exactly. I was just mentioning that too. Yeah, so far, it's not really looking good for Rice right now. It's like, it's kind of bland, it's kind of boring, but maybe for what I'm gonna mention now will help push it into that further category of like, let's talk about the means of like, food in the culinary world, I guess. So, I'm gonna go out and say that rice holds a lot better in buffets. So I'll put that there just to give it some sort of leverage. Because a lot of potato stuff does not really hold well in like chafing dishes and stuff. You know, stuff for like banquets and such. They always like get soggy or they get too wet or there's something about potatoes and water that just do not mix well. Well, yeah, potatoes and water just do not mix. They just do not work together when you put them in like a chafing dish or something like that. But when it's with rice, rice is completely fine with having more water. It's fine. They could put so much water in them, it's like whatever. Rice holds a lot better in buffets, so they can last a lot longer. They have a longer, I guess, life to hold from each other. From my experience, you can also make more stuff from potatoes. Not much for rice. We already wrote that down in our lacking of variety and versatility. Here, let me actually scroll up so I can show you, since it should catch you up to speed as well. But we were talking about like how there's so much more variety in potatoes. Like you can make soups, you can make hash browns, home fries, tater tots, those weird happy face smile fries, mashed potatoes, palm puree, Duchess potatoes, baked potatoes, layered potatoes, pavés, gratins, twice bakes, chips, poutine, fries, potato bread, pancakes, and potato salad. There's so much more you can do with potatoes. While in like rice, you could do like rice cakes, rice crackers, rice paper, I guess. There's arancini. Arancini's really cool. Risotto's also pretty cool. Pilaf, mochi's really tasty. And then you get dirty rice and Spanish rice, and then sushi and rice pudding. It's okay, it's good in that sense, but not much. Potatoes are cheaper to produce. I'm gonna say that rice is cheaper. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna put down. They're cheaper to buy in bulk and they last longer in storage. Like, let's say you buy a potato, like a bag of 50-pound potatoes. Eventually, it's going to get eyes, and it's gonna start producing not cyanide, but it's gonna be not ideal to grow when you eat anymore. To where you probably are better off throwing it in the ground. But in comparison to rice, as long as you keep the rice, a 50-pound bag of rice somewhere in a dry area, a dry, dark area, and keep it out of the way of rodents, that stuff is gonna last you forever. All you have to do is just add water, so it's a lot easier to hold stuff like that in storage. And it's also It's also just easier to store like rice versus potatoes. I'm not gonna talk about how there's more variety of rice versus a variety of potatoes because yeah, but we don't really care about variety. Like rice is rice, potatoes are potatoes. There's nothing funny about that. You could include funny Irish jokes for potatoes. You know what? I'll allow it. Funny Irish jokes. Because I also did put for in Asia, funny Asian jokes. So you could do that too. So with the potatoes, you get the funny Irish jokes. For rice, you get the funny Asian jokes. A debate right here? Yeah, we're having a debate of what's better, rice versus potatoes. Funny Down syndrome jokes. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, we're having a debate right now. We're all trying to talk about which starch is strong, which is better. Potato makes fries. We've already talked about this. Yes, potato has a lot more variety of use, and even with those variety of uses, there's so much more categories and subcategories of that. Like we were talking about potatoes, so we were talking about chips, and chips are a whole ballpark. And then with fries, and that's a whole ballpark. And then rice makes onigiri, but it's still kind of linear. Like onigiri is kind of just like a sandwich, you could say. There's variety in it, but it gets pretty shallow after you just kind of realize it's bread, stuff, and more bread. It's rice, filling, paper, and then more rice. It's almost always funny to call someone a potato. You know what? You also just... I'm gonna also make you remember something, maybe. Potato gun? Potato guns? You can... So they exist. You can also, by that same instant, you can also kill people with potatoes. Yeah, you can kill people with potatoes. Let's also mention we should also give a bit of a shout out to the potato famine as well, because that also existed. So they're also a very dangerous biohazard weapon. Oh wait, I gotta mention that. So they're a very viable physical and bioweapon. So you could do a potato famine. The potato famine counts against it. You know what? Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. The potato famine does exist. Which is the sole reason of the potato famine existing. That is a negative, but it's also a positive because you could do chemical warfare with potatoes, with how common they are made. But at the same time, you could probably do the same thing with like rice, like failing the rice crop, because rice grows in water. So we're actually gonna be easier to cultivate, maybe, because with rice you need a marsh to grow them in. So there's that you have to worry about, having a marsh and such. While potatoes, they can pretty much grow everywhere. I got to go to a theater rehearsal to school. I hope the stream goes well, and bye. Well, thank you for tuning in, Robert. See you around. Potato of Death. You can air cannon and shot some potatoes with it. Potato gun is the most feared weapon known to mankind. Of course. Potato guns are like potato guns are like BB guns, but for children. Because BB guns are more like teenage to like young adult stuff, because those are practically guns. but they're also dangerous. Not the airsoft guns. I'm talking about the ones that shoot metal balls. You know, those. Those are BB guns. But potato guns. Granted, the projectile is a little bit weaker. They are well, they might be a little weaker, but they will induce so much terror in you. So, did you know potatoes are in the nightshade family? No, I did not know that. I don't even know what the nightshade family is. You gained a submate. Oh, thank you. Nice. I love my like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will not get anything for it. It'll just make me happier. And doesn't that just matter in the end? Isn't that the only thing that matters in the end? There's also more types of potatoes, like russets. That is true. But there's also arborio rice, there's Carolina rice, there's short grain rice, there's long grain rice, there's sushi rice. And, you know, there's Idaho potatoes, there's Yukon Golds, there's russet potatoes, which are Idaho potatoes, but are a different variant. There's red potatoes, there's sweet potatoes, and I guess you could say yams. I'm pretty sure there are more... I think there's more variety of rice than potatoes, in all honesty. I don't know if we wrote that down, but potatoes are more popular. That is subjective. I'm not sure if they're popular, and that's why we're making this list. We're trying to make sure that we can say potatoes are better than rice, or rice is better than potatoes. I've already given my bit of saying, like, I like potatoes more than rice, but I will eat rice any day of the week. For potatoes, you kind of want to eat it. For me, I can't eat potatoes like 2 days straight. That just makes me mad. It just makes me upset. It just fills me up too quickly, and it's like, man, I don't want to eat anything else now. But rice, I like eating rice by itself because it's not as fulfilling, and I can actually eat my other food that I've made, and then it's like, oh man, I love this rice, and I love this like nice soup I've made, and this meat I've had as well. It's like, it's so good, and then you just eat like 50 things at once when you're eating the rice as well. Rice is just something you can eat every single day, but potatoes are just something I can eat every so often, you know? There are 40,000 types of rice in comparison to 4,000 types of potatoes. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I knew there was more varieties of rice than potatoes, so I guess we should write, but I should write that down as like, that's a thing too. So that's like 10 times more variety, right? 10 times more varieties. Yeah, that's something. There's more variety in the world for potatoes than there is for, rice than potatoes. I had no idea there was that many. I thought there was actually like 60,000, so I'm surprised, but not really that surprised. I know there was like a whole bunch of things that you could have, a whole bunch of rice variety species out there, so. Personally, I can eat potatoes for days, but they're delicious, but there's also a ton of ways to prepare potatoes. That is true. But in my opinion, I don't think I can eat potatoes every single day. They just fill you up too quickly, and if you eat potatoes every single day of your life, then it just makes you feel so groggy and just feel so full and just like, oh man, I just don't want to eat these anymore. Like, if I gave you a bowl of mashed potatoes every single day, 365 days a year, for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if I gave you mashed potatoes all of those meals, you're gonna get sick of it. Now, however, if I gave you a bowl of rice for every single meal, you probably won't care. You'll probably be like, yeah, it's rice, whatever. And you know why that's so... And, you know, the thing is, a lot of cultures already do that, too. Sorry, I'm playing with my little... I have a little stick that I've been fidgeting with for this entire time of stream so I don't fall asleep. It's great. I've been just kind of twirling this in my hands and it's so fun. So it's keeping me a little occupied as I try and think of things. But rice, rice just is so good to have every single day. It's something I could see myself eat every single day. Not really potatoes. Like, I love myself home fries, but I don't want to eat them every morning. I like potato pancakes, but I can't see myself eating that for lunch every single day. Same thing with mashed potatoes and tater tots and all that sort of stuff. They're good, but they also are just so oily and greasy, and it's just like, That's the hidden strength of rice. It's so plain and simple, but that's the thing. It's plain and simple. It's not gonna try and reinvent the wheel. It is the wheel. It's simple, it's delicious, and it's great because of it. So, rice is good in that strength. It's just like, there's nothing crazy that you need to do with rice. It's just great because it is. I prefer potatoes for dinner. Honestly, same. If I were to eat potatoes, it's really for lunch and maybe lunch and then dinner, you know? But rice, I could see myself eating any point or part of my day. Like, if you give me a bowl of rice for breakfast, I will happily eat it. Give me a sunny side egg and some spicy chili flake, and I'll put that on top, and it is delicious. Give me that with, like, maybe some chicken and some spinach. That's good. That's a good rice bowl for lunch. If you want to give it to me for dinner as a side, oh, it's amazing just to have it as a little side, just to help you fill up for dinner before you go to sleep. Pastas are the best. Well, you see, pasta is a different ballpark. That requires a lot more, what's the word? A lot more process to be made. Like, you have to roll out dough, blah 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 blah, dry it out, and then you gotta shelf it all and all that stuff. And you could say the same thing for rice and potatoes, but I think pasta's a bit too complicated. So we're not really comparing pasta here. We're comparing apples and pears, not apples and oranges. Different ballpark. I might use that. It is. It's just a different ballpark. It's just completely different from one of another. Rice and potatoes is like comparing apples and pears. If you compare potatoes and rice to like pasta, now you're comparing apples, oranges, and pears. The oranges are the pasta. It's just too weird. Rice you only need to wash then cook, so it's more simple. But potatoes are a little harder to prepare than rice too. I agree but disagree. There's a lot of people at my job that have no idea how to cook rice, but they can make mashed potatoes so much better than me. There are so many times when I make mashed potato at my job and it's like, oh, it's overcooked, it's too wet, and yeah, it makes me sad. But, rice is so easy to cook. Bread mixed with pasta. I gotta go get some sleep at my flight at 7. Okay, thank you for tuning in, Rice. Have a good one. They can't cook rice? Yeah, exactly. Isn't that kind of crazy? They're not Asian. Okay, I don't know why I need to mention that. But, like, yeah, have fun with your flight. Good luck. I hope you have a safe flight. Safe travels to you. Yeah. Bye-bye. Oh, okay, let's talk about that too. Flights. What would you rather have on a flight? Would you rather have a bowl of rice or a bowl of mashed potatoes? If you were to go on a plane right now, what would you rather eat? I would rather eat a bowl of rice. Rice, flights are just too annoying and they're too crazy and like the jet lag and all that stuff. But then a bowl of rice just keeps you grounded in that sense. It's so simple. But let's talk about my job for a quick second. A lot of these people have been in the industry for like probably 5+ years, you know? They've been on doing their thing for quite some time, but there's like 2 or 3 of them that just cannot cannot cook rice. When they cook the rice, it is cooked on the top, but then raw on the bottom. How? How do you do that? They don't even, and we know what the worst part is? They don't even wash the rice, which makes me so upset. Thank you, Rice, for your subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. But they don't wash the rice. And you know, it's just so upsetting. Why? Especially if there is some sauce with it. But not like salty sauce. I have something to add on rice. Yeah. Heck, even like a nice sunny side egg to where the yolk is just so runny, and then you just crack that egg right over the nice white plain rice, and it gets so nice and coated in the yolk, and it's so flavorful and rich. That's good stuff. That is so good. Rice can be salty or sugary. You mean sweet? Yeah, rice can be, I mean, yeah, I can see that. Rice does work well. Yeah, no, it does. Here, I'm gonna write that down. There's not really many applications for like rice, I mean for potatoes being sweet, but yeah, they are good for sweet and savory uses. I mean, granted, you have sweet potatoes, but sweet potatoes are still going to be used in a savory context. Like, you're going to have, like, sweet potatoes with, like, a nice marinated, like, pork chop, and then maybe something green, like collard greens or something. Like, you're still going to use sweet potatoes in a savory context, but with how rice can be used, you can use rice in a sweet and savory context. Good example, rice pudding. That was a very, very good example, using a rice pudding. But with rice, you can do like, you know, you can just do fried rice, plain rice, any sort of rice. Rice is good when you want to eat 1,000 of something. That is true. It is just the ultimate, it's the ultimate side. I'm not really from the UK or English country, so sorry for my grammar, hehe. You're doing pretty good. If I didn't know if you didn't say that, I wouldn't even really know any better. I would have just said, yeah, you know English. Sushi rice are the best because it sticks together. Yeah, generally sticky rice. Sticky rice is just so much fun to cook and eat. Once more, my coworkers just don't like cooking rice. But, like, rice is just so good. Kimchi fried rice. I'm just thinking of just fried rice. I don't know. Hey, all things considered, your English is a lot better than most. I think your English would probably even be better than mine. I'm barely able to speak English. And the only reason why I'm able to speak English right now, which is just saying my only language I can only speak, is because I'm actually preoccupying my hand. And it's like, I can actually, like, focus on what I'm talking about. Let's see. I think that might be it. I can't really think of anything else. Unless someone else can think of some other funny things. Like, there's not much more of like, oh yeah, what's better, what's stronger. It's the ultimate side, it has more varieties, it has savory and sweet applications, cheaper to buy and long storage. And yeah, potatoes are funny. You can kill people with potatoes. the Irish potato famine, that is also a negative, so there's that. I'm a native speaker and I still screw it up. Exactly. No, Rip Price, let me think. Well, I mean, if we're talking about what's better or not, it's just really a matter of preference, really. And it's also a matter of situation. Like, in most situations, I would actually choose rice, but I do enjoy eating potatoes more often. I would like to eat rice more often, but potatoes are a bit more enjoyable. It's It's like, okay, here's the best way I can describe it. Imagine I take you to a Walmart, or imagine I take you to a supermarket, and I tell you to go buy, and I give you $100, and you go buy like a few things of that. Now, let's say I give you, actually, okay, that's a really bad analogy. Wait, let me give you a better analogy. It's like getting paid weekly versus bi-weekly. Potatoes is like getting paid bi-weekly. It's good. Okay, never mind. I can't think of a good, I don't know what I'm talking about. I can't think of a good analogy here. Potatoes and rice. Take your pick. My pick is rice by itself. But then, if you want to eat it with other things, if you want to have fun while eating something, it is potatoes. Potatoes are more fun to eat, but rice is a lot more simple to eat, and I like simple. Oh, what would you rather have in a survival situation? Potatoes. If we're talking about pure survival, cultivating a potato is a lot easier than cultivating rice, because for rice you need a marsh to grow them in, so that's an obvious thing. And also, have you not seen that Mars movie? I can't remember the Mars movie, but he was able to grow potatoes on Mars, and with that he was able to survive with that. You unfortunately would not be able to really do that with rice, but you know, potatoes are very easy, relatively speaking. They're easy to grow, relatively speaking. The Martian, yes. Martian Manhunter. But yeah, all things considered, for pure survival situations, potatoes are better, because you can cultivate and make more. And also, in that same essence, they can also keep you a lot more filled, which makes you less hungry. I think rice gets moisture on them less faster. Yeah. Rice does last a lot better in storage. So for the sense of storage and keeping fresh, rice is a lot better in that aspect. But we already wrote that down, so yeah. I think that might be it. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm taking a second. Like, I'm trying to really think here. Yeah, you didn't solve? No, it's alright. Don't worry about it. The text is kind of small, so don't worry about it. How about value? What's cheaper? Well, that's easy. Rice is obviously going to be a lot more valuable to buy it in bulk versus potatoes, because here. Let's say you were to buy a 50-pound bag of potatoes versus a 50-pound potato with a 50-pound bag of rice. If you buy a 50-pound bag of rice, you're gonna be spending around $29 by the looks of it. $20, 29. It's gonna be in like the 20s and 40 range. But if you spend that money on potatoes, you're gonna be spending like $48, $29, $34, stuff like that. But that's not the thing that you really need to worry about. It's how quickly can you use the potatoes before they go bad. For longevity and storage, rice beats it. Because you can cook rice whenever, really. But if you have potatoes, you have to use them in a specific time frame, since they are still alive, they're a vegetable, and they are eventually gonna go spoil and get bad and rot. So even though if you think about value and what's cheap, if you think about what's cheaper, you might want to say, oh, maybe potatoes are cheaper, or whatever it may be. But that's not even the case. Rice is cheaper. And with value, well, it's rice. Because it just lasts longer. Yeah, rice is expensive when it's real, and good rice not from the supermarket. Yeah, that's buying in bulk in the States. I like to buy like 50 or 10, no, I like buying 10-pound bags of rice because I'm a small little boy. Little man. Sorry, I'm not a boy, I'm a man. I'm a small little man, and I like to eat rice. But I have not been able to really eat too much of my rice because it lasts. I just don't eat it that much. But if I buy potatoes, then it's like, you know, you have to eat it within a certain time frame or it rots and then you gotta throw it out. But with rice, I've had the same bag of rice for at least 3 months, and no, at least 8 months, and it's fine. I suppose going by weight, you have to peel the potatoes too. That is true. Well, actually, that depends, because let's say you do home fries, or maybe you do a baked potato. You don't have to peel it. You don't really have to. And even if you want to do like if you want to do a mashed potato, you don't have to. You can just do a mashed potato. You can just do a smashed potato, to where you bake the potato and then you mash it when it's soft, and then you kind of throw your butter, milk, and all that sort of stuff in it too. So, yeah, you could peel it, but you don't need to peel it, you know? But I think we've already talked about the variety of food versus rice and potato. I think potato is superior in the sense of like what you can do with it, but rice is superior in the sense of like what would you want to eat. I would rather eat rice more than I would a potato. So yeah. Alright. I think... okay, so... I think I might end today's stream for right now. I'm gonna probably just save this as is, and I'm gonna go post this on the funny Twitter website. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up today. Alright. I'm gonna get rid of this smart board. Alright, lad. You've done well. I'm gonna send you away. Bye-bye. Sayonara. See you later? Would you like to move, please? Oh, wait. Alright, there we go. Bye-bye, smart board. Yeah, potatoes are scarier than rice? Interesting. Goodbye. Underrated channel. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you think I'm underrated. I'm not sure if that's a compliment for some people, but I think that's a compliment for myself. Being called underrated, I think that's a compliment right there. Thank you. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna really stream too much this week. Saturday, I'm still kind of on the fence about. I don't even know what I'm gonna do Saturday, so Saturday is up in the air. That being said, there might be a few gorillas here and there. I might do a Minecraft stream or a drawing stream or some game stream sometime this week. But we'll see. It's kind of up in the air. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see. Thank you for tuning in today, though, all things considered. Thank you, Mr. Rice or Mrs. Rice or in between Rice, whatever you may want to be. Yeah, I play Minecraft. If you go to if you go to my YouTube channel and check me out on the live category, you can see all the Minecraft that we've done. So yeah, could you try and mod create on it? I could, but I like playing vanilla, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it now. I'm tired. I want to go lay down. Thank you all for tuning in today. I am going to go actually check on some bread. I gotta go do some bread stuff real quick. But aside from that, thank you for tuning in today. Make sure you follow my Twitter to know when I'm going to go live next. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in today. You are all very cool, very awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Wow. Hi, Lung. Thank you for lurking. Thank you. Y'all have a good night, morning, whatever it may be. Have a good time zone. And I'm out. I'm gonna go make some bread. Otsu Kichi. Bye bye. Otsu. Bye. 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 Bye.